Yes, yes, yes. I was just looking at this 18 U.S. Code offenders with mental disease or defect. Yes, for mental defectives in chapter heading determination of mental competency to stand trial. Examination and transfer to hospital. Determination of the existence of insanity at the time of the offense. Yes. Retransfer upon recovery. Oh, hospitalization of a convicted person suffering from mental disease or defect. Yes. Now, I did notice, because I just made two, it says determination and disposition. If after the hearing, right, the court finds by a preponderance of the evidence the defendant is presently suffering from mental disease and defect, rendering him mentally incompetent, to the extent that he's unable to understand the nature and consequences of the proceedings against him, or assist properly in his defense, the court shall commit the defendant to the custody of the Attorney General. Now, the Attorney General of each and every state shall hospitalize the defendant for treatment in a, I can't read it, some sort of facility, right? A treatment in a, it's a mental facility, yes, for such a reasonable period of time not to exceed 4 months, as is necessary to determine whether there's substantial probability that in the foreseeable future he will attain capacity to permit the proceedings to go forward. Yeah. Now, it does say here, and I'll probably get it out in just a few minutes, right, that this concept of the Attorney General being the one that decides that offenders with mental disease or defect, yes. When the city of Sequim was the plaintiff alleging the mental disease or defect, isn't the Attorney General of the state of Washington the actual employee of the state that determines it? Now let's see. Coach, it was the state of Washington as the plaintiff because that protection order, yes. It was the court of Washington that issued the protection order, and it's the Attorney General of Washington. Now, I noticed, okay, pow. I was defenseless and depressed, and Judge Porter required me to have a mental health evaluation without a valid protection order. Yes. Kept saying, well, he has to have mental health evaluation treatment if recommended. Pooh. But it's the Attorney General that actually obligates an individual to be admitted into a mental facility for, well, can the city of Sequim, Washington be the plaintiff of the results of a 1077 when the city itself is not the state of Washington? Now, there could be a lawsuit here, okay. Could be a good-sized one. Yes, it could! Now, when it's the Attorney General, pooh, Bob Ferguson, how are you today? It's Bob fucking Butnick! Now, I'm thinking, yes, that the state of Washington's Attorney General is personally liable, as is every employee of the fucking Attorney General's office, for allowing for a city, yes, instead of the state, yes, to be the plaintiff, yes, of the very great possibility of mental disease or defect in a facility of yes. Now, considering, okay, what is the probability that it was against the law to keep me in jail for 27 days for a failure to appear to a mental health evaluation? When the state of Washington was not the named plaintiff, the city of Sequim was. Pooh. Now, I'm wanting to sue Sequim today, okay? I'm wanting to sue Port Angeles, all right? I'm wanting to sue Port Angeles right now.